prohibited from using the internet or social media, but certain ones who have been convicted of crimes involving juveniles are. This was a coordinated effort between the Louisiana Department of Justice's Bureau of Investigation, which houses our central team that anchors the Louisiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force statewide. We have over 30 law enforcement agencies stretching across North Louisiana with us who participated in this. And it includes our state partners with the Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections and Probation and Parole, who were a critical partner in this particular operation. If you'll be patient with me, I would like to mention all of the sheriffs and police departments that were with us and have participated in this, starting with Bienville Sheriffs, Bienville, Bossier, Caddo, Caldwell, Catahoula, Claiborne, Concordia, DeSoto, East Carroll, Franklin, Grant, and Jackson, LaSalle, Lincoln, Madison, Morehouse, and Natchitoches. We have more sheriff's offices, but I'm going in alphabetical order. So those are all sheriff's offices, and then Oak Grove Police Department, the Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office, Red River, Richland, Ruston Police Department, Sabine Sheriff's Office, Tensas Sheriff, Webster Sheriff, West Carroll Sheriff, West Monroe Police Department, Wynn Parish Sheriff's Office, and the Union Parish Sheriff's Office. Did I miss anybody? We have West Monroe, I know that's going to talk. So since I've been elected, it's been my priority to identify those who might harm our children and bring them to justice. That's why I instructed LBI to conduct this operation that targeted registered sex offenders who've been convicted of crimes against children. From November 1st to December 1st of this year, using resources that are available to law enforcement, our agents, in collaboration with our partner agencies, identified and arrested 67 previously arrested sex offenders for additional crimes against children. Everyone who we arrested had a previous conviction of a sex crime involving a juvenile victim, and they were subsequently arrested for additional violations of Louisiana law that were discovered during this operation. Some of the offenders were arrested for additional crimes, including first-degree rape, computer-aided solicitation of a juvenile, indecent behavior with a juvenile, and possession of child sexual abuse material and sexual abuse of an animal, among other charges. The specifics of some of these disturbing cases will be discussed by some of our partners. So here's how it worked. We used the state sex offender registry and other law enforcement databases to identify registered sex offenders that were violating the law, and then we used other tools that we had available to be able to identify whether they were using social media. These sex offenders were engaging in unlawful online activity and violating additional criminal laws. Through our coordinated efforts, arrest warrants were obtained for the 67 individuals that you can see on the posters beside me. Our partner agencies arrested these individuals and those arrests then led to the discovery of other violations. More arrests are coming. This is an ongoing operation, an investigation, and we will continue to update you as we get additional information. When I assumed office in January 2024, our ICAC unit had formalized agreements with 8 partner agencies across the state to participate in the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. What that means for them and for us is that it's a more formal relationship where we offer training and we have a tighter ability to follow up on tips that come through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. But thanks to the hard work of the members of my team and the elected leaders that are standing beside me, we now have 70 partner agencies as part of our ICAC task force. I am extraordinarily proud of that statistic because it's so much more than a statistic. This represents a partnership that we've built to protect children across our state. It means that my guys can help train their guys can work with us, and we can act on these tips in a much more expedited way. These agencies receive training and leads in their jurisdictions related to the exploitation of children in Louisiana. As a result of these partnerships, the ICAC Task Force has expanded its ability to arrest and bring to justice those who wish to harm the most innocent among us. Just this year alone, the Louisiana ICAC Task Force has received almost 27,000 cyber tips. We broke last year's record in September of this year, which shows just how quickly these numbers are expanding across our state. If you look at the data across 5 years, you'll see that they're going up exponentially. I attribute that to the prevalence and the ability of people to access our children through social media. So far in 2025, the task force has made over 515 arrests. We have 82 new child victims who have been identified and 64 child victims who have been rescued from ongoing sexual abuse. A complete list of those stats can be found on the news release that we've released from my office. This dramatic increase in numbers is a direct result of cooperation of all law enforcement and the increase in tips that we receive from our partners, the NCMEC tips that we receive related to children who may be targeted by either sex offenders or someone who's been identified as potentially a victim of abuse. I believe that that is due to the access to the internet that these predators have. It used to be that when our children were in our homes and in their bedrooms, we believed and felt like they were safe. We can't believe that anymore. They're not safe if they are connected to the internet. If they have a phone, if they have an iPad, if they have a laptop, if they have access to the internet, then a sex predator has access to your child. So I encourage parents to continue to be extraordinarily vigilant about overseeing their children's use of social media, because we have faced headwinds in holding the social media companies accountable. I sued Roblox recently because of the very prevalent use of sex predators to access children through that platform. We've seen just through this operation that they aren't the only ones, that there are, and we've known that all along, that there are other platforms that are commonly used by sex predators to find access to our kids and to communicate with them. And so that work isn't going away, it is only growing. In Livingston Parish, the sheriff who was executing a warrant on an ICAC tip found an individual who was masking his voice as somewhere around a 12 to 14-year-old girl. This was a male who was masking his voice as a teenage girl on Roblox and attempting to communicate with kids. That's just not uncommon anymore, and so we have an all-hands-on-deck problem, and I'm enormously proud of the results of this operation, which would not have been possible without all of our partners and law enforcement leaders who are standing here with me. With our current partnerships, the Louisiana ICAC Task Force is continuing to grow. I expect by February that we will have 100% of our sheriffs on board, and we will continue to work with all of our local chiefs of police as well to build those partnerships. We want to make sure that if you're looking to harm our children, that you won't be able to do it, and that we will hold you accountable if we find out that you've had access to our kids and exploited them. We'll leave no stone unturned, and we will do everything that we can to protect Louisiana's children. With that, I'd like to introduce the Lieutenant Colonel of Probation and Parole in the Department of Public Safety and Corrections, Stephen LaSalle. There we are. And this agency played a very large role in this operation, so I'm going to turn it over to him, and then we'll hear from some other of our partners.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Lieutenant Colonel Stephen LaSalle with Field Operations and Services for Louisiana State Probation and Parole. I do want to thank Attorney General Murrow and her staff for letting us be a part of this operation, always making sure that we're part of the task force. I also want to thank all the sheriffs and local partners that we partner with each and every day to provide public safety across our state. I want to thank Major Mike LaCroix and his staff, The district managers of our Shreveport office, our Minden office, Monroe, Tallulah, and Natchitoches office, who provided field staff who helped with this particular operation. Most of all, I'd like to thank our field officers. We have 500 field officers who supervise roughly 49,000 offenders across the state, 1,736 of which are sex offenders. We have specific staff in each of our 21 offices who are trained and follow up on all those sex offender cases, and they do their best to follow up on this. But this operation is proof to show that although some will comply, some folks are determined to continue to break the rules, and we will find out, and we will hold them accountable. For those that are restricted, we supervise those each and every day with those officers. This operation is just another way that really helps us, again, because we have a lot of folks. Supervision is the second chance. And if folks take advantage of the opportunity, that's good, but for those who don't, we're going to take action to protect public safety, especially our children.
Thank you, and I think we're going to hear from West Carroll Parish Sheriff Scott Matthews. And I see Kevin. Kevin, you want to come up here? He's like, no. Heading out in the back.
Thank you, Attorney General Murrow. My name is Scott Matthews, and I'm the sheriff in West Carroll Parish. And I'd like to speak just for a moment on the relationship that we have built with the AG's office. Sometimes smaller rural parishes sometimes lack the resources to dedicate to complex investigations such as these. And because of the relationships that we built with your office, we're able to rely on the AG's office now for resources and support to take these predators off the streets and out of our communities. I would like to express my thanks to you for the relationships that we've built, and I look forward to many, many more cases made. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
West Monroe Police Chief Jason Pleasant, I think, is going to come up here and talk about a particular case that we encountered in this operation.
Thank you. Justin, while we stand here and we all stand up here, I just want to give thanks to the men and women that grind this out every day and spend their time working these cases. Again, I'm Jason Pleasant. I'm the police chief in West Monroe. This is Sergeant Justin Cummings. He is part of the coordinated effort, and we've been part of this task force for several years, and it's been very fruitful for us. We've received a good bit of assistance in our cases, and in return, we've been able to help the Attorney General's office with theirs. And we work together hand in hand. I know even this week, and I'm going to speak about one that we worked just yesterday. Yesterday, we actually, with the assistance of the AG's office, arrested a subject in possession of large quantity of child sexual abuse material. Through this investigation, we were able to charge him with 600 counts of possession of that child sexual abuse materials, 19 counts of production of them, and over 300 counts of video voyeurism. During another recent investigation, Operation Access Denied, the AG's office assisted West Monroe Police in arresting Louis Mayhaw, who was unlawfully using social media to communicate with juveniles in West Monroe. He was later charged with first-degree rape, molestation of a juvenile, computer-aided solicitation of a minor, unlawful presence of a sex offender, and unlawful use of social media and networking sites. It's, again, we're talking about days that we've dealt with that. It's just, we're very thankful that we have an Attorney General that will work with us, that will provide us with the support we need, and our hopes and dreams are to continue this relationship and move forward and to put the bad guys in jail.
Thank you, Chief. Webster Parish Sheriff Jason Parker.
Good afternoon, Sheriff Jason Parker, Webster Parish, and it's a privilege to me to be a part of this program today. And you know, I think that we can all agree that our most precious and valuable resource for our future are our children. And starting over 30 years ago in law enforcement, our front lines of defense of keeping them safe were on our streets and in the classrooms, giving them education. Over time, it has changed to the battlegrounds being on laptops, computers, and iPhones. I can speak from a rural parish in northwest Louisiana that over the past 5 years we've been struggling to work these cases, and a lot of times it's been reactive instead of proactive because we were lacking certain resources. But since coming on board with our Attorney General under her leadership with this ICAC task force, we now have somebody permanently assigned to the task force through our department. That is her job, her duty. We have resources, we have training, we have technology, and I just want you to know that the agreement that we signed is formal, it's agreement. But I think that all of us sheriffs and chiefs and other agencies here, I want you to know that we stand shoulder to shoulder with you, protecting our kids. And we're going to draw a line in the sand saying it's not going to be tolerated. And we appreciate your support and your leadership and your guidance, and look forward to many more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kevin Cobb's here. I'm going to call you out. He's not on the list, but he's here. He's the Executive Director of the Sheriff's Association. It was Sheriff, so I mean, do you want to say anything?
Absolutely. Look, there's people that talk about doing things, and there's people that do things. And this is just a fine example of people coming together and making things happen. And we've talked about the sheriffs, and I am the Executive Director of Louisiana Sheriff's Association, former sheriff. And 15 years ago, we ran a program in Franklin Parish. And much similar to what we're doing today, but the point is we were trying to educate our children and educate not just our children, but our parents and the grandparents to say, look, no matter if you live in the middle of Baton Rouge or the middle of New Orleans or in Chicago or New York or wherever, if you live down a dirt road, our children can be a victim. And we proved that back then, but we quickly saw that our resources just could not handle the volume of the issue that really was at hand. But we was able to show that it was happening in places like Winsboro, Louisiana, like Ruston, Louisiana, like all the small towns throughout North Louisiana, South Louisiana, and all around. And this partnership that we've had in the last several months with the Attorney General's program, the sheriffs, the chiefs, it's been amazing. And what it's done is put these faces, these arrests, these cases, these situations, these stories, it's been put on social media. It's being put in the news. So we have the kids seeing that, saying, hey, it can happen to me, it could happen to my classmates, it could happen to my friends. And the parents are seeing that, saying the same thing. The grandparents, the guardians, the school teachers. This is bringing it to light. And again, I don't want to repeat what has already been said here today, but we really, really appreciate the partnership. And again, there's people that talk about doing things, and there's people that does things. And I believe the sheriffs, the chiefs, the Attorney General's office in the state of Louisiana, we're making an impact keeping our children safe in the state of Louisiana. So thank you, Attorney General, for everything you do.
Thank you. David and Chris, y'all want to come up? I'd love to, my ICAC people, I'd love to have them come up here, who, you know, the folks who are here. These guys work tirelessly. We work under, you know, federal grant funding, which I would certainly like to see expanded. Our numbers keep going up. There's never going to not be a need for us to be vigilant in this space, but I do want to recognize them. And would you just talk a little bit about what this fight is that we've been, the war that we are now waging and the battle that we find ourselves in?
Sure, we're in a place now where we've never seen it before, right? Our tips have expanded over 27,000, which we've talked about today. And it's impossible for any one individual agency to investigate 27,000 leads. So what we've done is we've brought together law enforcement and prosecutorial agencies because children have access at 2 years old, and they can probably access the internet better than a lot of us at 3, right? So we've had to bring all these agencies together to fight this battle as one. We're a united front for the state of Louisiana. Going forward, this is what you're going to see. We are going to target those people who intend to harm our children. All of these people standing with us up here today, and the growth I've seen under this Attorney General, I'm having the time of my career because we are putting people in jail and we don't apologize for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? No, Greg?
In general, you said that you try to replicate this operation was so successful that you hope in 2026 to replicate it in other areas of the state. Is that already kind of underway, or?
You know, we have ongoing, basically targeted operations that we would like to see. I mean, I think we are going to try and replicate this again in different parts of the state. It takes a little time to kind of put an operation together, and we obviously don't like to talk too much about the details of an ongoing investigation or operation. But you know, I would put that warning out there. If you're a registered sex offender and you're not supposed to be using social media, then you should stop, because we are going to find you and we are going to arrest you, and we're going to keep continuing to put aggressive pressure on people who are violating the law. This is not academic. It's a real problem. You've seen with Chief Pleasant's, I think, example that one of these cases led to the arrest of someone with 600 counts of possession of CSAM, production of CSAM, and a first-degree rape conviction of a child. That is, you know, every one of those is a real victim. It is, you know, I think that sometimes people think that because it's even specifically with CSAM, that because it's digital images that somehow it's not, there's no victim. There's a victim. There's a person in that that's depicted in that. And even now in the age of being able to create digital images, there's still the depiction of this criminal act that is a violent assault against a child. There are no, you know, victimless crimes in this space. And so we're going to continue to work together, and I think that that's what we're here to show, is that we are going to continue to partner and work together, and we're going to tackle this problem together. The tips continue to go up, but we are going to be able to pursue every single one of them because of these partnerships. Anything else?
Is there any way to know, do the tips go up because there's more problem, or is there just more awareness from parents or other people that they should be reporting things?
You know, the tips come to us through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I think that's because we've identified people on the internet. You know, I think that Chris could probably speak to that better than I. I certainly have an opinion about it. I mean, I think that the tips are going up, and the problem is increasing dramatically because of social media, because the sex predators have clear access to talk to people through social media. We have seen, and he can tell you, that some of the platforms that we see prevalently used in these cases include Snapchat, Discord, Roblox, Instagram, Facebook. Am I missing any?
Pretty much got them all covered.
You know, so I don't think anybody is free from responsibility in this space. I have sent that message to the social media platforms who I talk to and who are, you know, frequently lobbying against laws that would require age verification and other protective measures. I don't think they get a free pass. I think everybody has to come together and be responsible about fighting against the exploitation of children through these apps. But I think that is a significant reason. Do you have any other explanation?
I mean, I would say that there's probably 2 reasons you're seeing an increase. Number one is the access. Always going to be the access. As you can't even go to school now without using a tablet. I don't think they give out books anymore. I don't have any kids that young, but I don't think they give books in school anymore. I think everything is a Chromebook at this point. So these children have to know the access to the internet. In previous years, prior to all this access on the internet, a sex offender had to go to a park, had to find you in a bathroom. Well, now they don't. They find your child in their bedroom while they're on the computer, while you're in the other room, while they're on their phone, while you're in the other room. The other thing I think you're seeing an increase is because of the education. We do that as well. Through us, through our partnerships, we put out education in school systems to where these children understand that there's a venue for them to report this on. And a lot of them are going to be fearful of coming to their parents, correct? So if they're fearful of coming to their parents, they can report it anonymously online through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which has probably brought an increase in those tips as well. But it's also helping us to identify more child victims that we wouldn't have known about previously.
And I've increased my outreach to children too. I mean, we're continuing to look at ways that we can expand our outreach programs. We have a program that we call, How to Be Safe with Your Cell Phone. We target parents and children with that particular outreach. We need to do more of it. I mean, I don't think that any of us believe that we've certainly hit some kind of benchmark or success rate in terms of educating people about how to protect their kids. And, some of these sex predators are very adept at getting access to somebody, pretending they are a younger child, and then convincing that child to change the parental controls on the app. So that has also been a significant problem. These are manipulative people who are good at what they are attempting to do. They will be able to find a victim. So we have to keep trying to educate people about how not to be a victim, and parents to do what they can to continually check their child's social media usage, because you can't just sit back and say, well, I put these parental controls in place and so I think my child is safe, because the predators will teach your child how to change those controls, and the child, almost 100% of the time does not know who they're actually talking to. So I think children by their nature are trusting. That's a good thing, but we're in an age of social media and the internet where we have to teach them to be smart and vigilant about how they can be exploited and victimized by people who are not who they say they are. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more specific tips or advice for parents and families at home about what they can do to try to prevent this from their children?
I guess the best piece of advice is, again, be very vigilant about checking your child's social media access. I personally think that it is a good idea to not allow social media access to any child who's under the age of 16. If we could accomplish that, it would be a great thing. It would change the world. I think Australia has recently put that restriction in. I'm not naive enough to think that we're close to being able to accomplish something like that in the United States, but I can tell you that it would rescue and save a lot of children. I think that parents have to be vigilant about checking all of the access that their child has to social media. We had a case in Baker, Louisiana, just recently, about a month ago, where a 13-year-old girl was trafficked from Baker to Pennsylvania through Atlanta. She was raped along the way. She was raped when she got there. These people accessed her through an iPad, I think, or a notebook that she had obtained and was hiding from her mother. The mother did not allow her to have open access. And yet the child, as children will do, don't always follow the rules that their parents said. So, we have to be vigilant. I think parents need to make sure that they are protecting their children. And, I have 4 children. They don't always respond well to that kind of oversight or that kind of restriction. But we just can't allow that to deter us from making sure that we do what is necessary to protect our kids. Anything else? Does anybody else want to speak? The mic is yours. No, well, thank you. I want to thank all of our law enforcement partners and all of their staffs. Again, I think that this work is done by our guys in the field. It is hard work. I really don't want to I think we can never underestimate how hard this work is. the material that they are exposed to, that they have to deal with when they are pursuing these predators it's abhorrent. It's terrible to have to be exposed to all of that, but they are doing God's work. They are doing work that protects the most vulnerable people in our society, and I just want to applaud everybody that does that work and let them know that they have our personal gratitude for their commitment to this fight and their willingness to do this work.
I think the message is pretty simple. If you're willing to take away the innocence of a child, everybody that's standing with you today is going to do everything that we can to take away that person's freedom.
Good way to end our press conference. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here.